Michael Jordan.
I love me some Clay Thompson, because he's a Washington State alum. Go Cougs, baby.
Right now, Sam Ellinger for Texas. I love that guy.
I mean, I gotta say Jordan, because I'm from Chicago. Although I was a really big Dirk fan too. Watching him put the team on his back and take down the Eagles was one of my favorite things ever.
Myself. Just kidding.
I'd have to go with Alex Morgan.
I loved Pudge Rodriguez, who played for the Rangers many years ago. Really loved him. I love Natasha Watley growing up. She's an incredible softball athlete.
Favorite athlete of all time is Dirk Nowitzki, of course.
My all-time favorite is Kirby Puckett. I'm a huge Minnesota everything fan.
I would say right now it would have to be LeBron James.
I look up to John Roethlisberger quite a bit. The three-time Olympian back about 20 years ago.
My favorite athlete is Carrie Walsh Jennings. She's a beach volleyball player.
Alicia Sacramone is my favorite gymnast. She was in the Olympics 2 years, and I think tried a third year as well.
Favorite athlete? Probably Serena Williams.
Oh, Luka Doncic. Luka. Currently active. Overall, it's Dirk Nowitzki. Also, honorable mention Sue Bird. Okay, sorry. That was 3.
Yes, and I love him.
Right now, probably Eliud Kipchoge, first person to break 2 hours in the marathon. Really interesting individual. Really interesting. I like him a lot.
Serena Williams. I love her so much.
Favorite athlete of all time. I've got to give 2 answers on this one. So my favorite athlete of all time is probably Alan Trammell. He used to play for the Detroit Tigers. Now, if I'm answering it honestly, it's the Macho Man Randy Savage. But
I really like Emmitt Smith. When I was growing up, I watched him play on TV, but then also, being a dancer, got to see him on Dancing with the Stars. So he's got that, football and dance aspect.
I'm a big fan of Pina Bausch. She's really talented choreographer and artist in the kind of postmodern dance industry.
My favorite athlete probably of all time is Julie Foudy, who played for the women's national soccer team. I think she's my spirit animal, actually.
Winning conference championships at Coastal Georgia was probably my favorite because I started that program from scratch. That was probably my personal favorite. But then also like Game 6, Utah Jazz, Jordan pulls up, has like the hold your finish moment. I was 9 when that happened. So, and being from Chicago, being a Jordan fan is a little different. So yeah, one of those 2.
And we went and we played Tennessee at University of Florida. And that was probably the craziest game of my life. We, we're down 2-1 with, I'm telling you, 2 minutes left. And one of my teammates just hits this miraculous ball. I mean, upper 90. It still gives me like chills talking about it. And we go into overtime and then double overtime. And then we go to PKs. And I don't know, there was something about the energy and the atmosphere, but we kind of were all just like, we knew that we had it. And, our goalkeeper that day, she stopped the first one. She stopped the second one. She stopped the third one. So they had not even made a single PK. And it only took us 3-4 shooters in, and we were off to the Sweet 16. So that was the first time in school history, too. So that was just absolutely amazing.
Our 2017 national championship. That one was number 10 for us, and we had been working toward and waiting for that number 10 for a long time. So when it happened, it was just one of the most special, surreal moments.
Sports moment. Honestly, this is going to seem like a lame answer maybe, but like as a coach, I love those moments when you like see it click for your athletes. That could be just like a small moment in practice when they're working on something forever and it finally clicks for them. Or it could be like a big thing, like, this past year when we beat Commerce at their place for the conference tournament. And like, the way that the group like gelled together to make that happen. Those are the moments that as a coach you kind of live for, because it's not anything that I'm doing. It's just me trying to empower and enable these young women to do it for themselves. And so to kind of be standing on the sideline watching in those moments is probably the coolest part about my job.
Certainly, I would say 2018 when I was coaching at Albany State, and we made it to regionals, because that was my second time making it to regionals. Both times was as a coach, but this time was a head coach. So I would say that was a huge sports moment for me as a head coach. But again, as an assistant coach, even when Louisiana Tech, when we made it to regionals, that was huge too. So to be a part of both of those programs was an incredible experience.
And it was my junior year, and we were in a conference tournament, and it was the finals, and we ended up going into PKs, and we ended up winning in PKs, so that was a lot of fun.
My last year there at Tarleton, we got to win the conference tournament. We won the championship there, so that was a pretty cool moment, really exciting, that I got to be a part of. And then just watching my favorite sports moment, I mean, it's got to be, Game 6 in Miami in 2011 with the Mavericks. Like I say, just, watching, that whole title run and kind of what all that meant to, as a Mavs fan and a Dirk fan especially, like I say, it was pretty special.
Well, I would have to say winning my very first national title when I was at Phoenix College would probably be my all-time favorite playing-wise. And then I would say from a coaching perspective, winning 6 in a row national titles when I was at Phoenix College was probably one of my biggest highlights.
When I was a freshman at Richland College, we won the Division III Junior College National Championship up in Herkimer, New York. It was freezing, but it was a great experience.
I think winning nationals in 2018, that was super, super special. Just the group of people, everything that we had gone through that year. And with it being my first year at TWU, that's a moment that I'll never forget.
One of my first, when I was an undergrad, I did shadow a lot and do a lot of sports medicine stuff there. And it was really impactful for this one athlete who had an injury, and I was there through the whole time. I was there when the injury happened. I was there through all the rehabs and all the process, and it was a long journey to get her back, but it was probably one of the most proud moments, I guess.
Favorite sports moment of my own personal was my senior year of college. We beat our rival Harding in 5 sets at home to win the first GAC championship ever.
Just playing, because I played basketball. So just playing in college, we played this one team where they brought the band, they brought their fan student section. It was loud. We couldn't even hear the coach, our coach yelling at us. It was so loud in there. But it was the level of intensity was great. So I like that.
Favorite sports moment. Senior year of high school, winning the state championship. That was pretty. Yes, it was very dope.
Junior year, I think, of high school, I had 5 senior cousins on the team. And so the newspaper did a story about all of them and everything. And my high school was kind of bad at football. While I was there, we were bad. But that year we were dominating. We were so good. And just that my cousins were able to get that recommendation, and my family, because Vera is our family name in my hometown, and it was just a front page news about the Vera boys, and it related back to their uncles and their dads and what they did for the football team and what they were doing for them. So I thought that was really cool.
I think the 2-hour marathon, something that's fresh on my mind, and that's a really big deal. That's one of them. I think the 1980 Olympics, the United States hockey team's victory over Russia was huge. I didn't personally witness any of those, but looking back, those are 2 big ones, 2 big milestones that I like to learn and reflect on a lot. And then individually, favorite moment, I don't know if you remember when Robin Ventura I think Roman Ventura charged Nolan Ryan on the mound, and Nolan punched him. I was at that game, so like that was kind of a highlight of my youth type thing. But yeah, I think that's probably it.
So I went to Dirt's last home game, and it was very playoff-like. The atmosphere was very playoff-like, and just the emotion around it was insane. I definitely cried like 2 or 3 times while I was there, but it was just a great moment.
My favorite sports moment, 2004, I was working at Delta State University, and we won the national championship in baseball. And that was my first year working full-time in the business, and finished the year with a national championship. And I haven't seen one since. You know, they're hard to come by.
I would have to say, honestly, the very first time that the Pioneer Pride dance team performed for our camp. So our season starts with a camp, which ends with essentially it's like a mini competition. And so the very first time my team performed as a group, everyone around, I mean, they knew that we were a new team, and I had so many like other coaches and dancers, and they were going, TWU, where did they come from? And so that was just really exciting, and we did very well that year. So that was something that was really special to be part of.
I think so. I was actually I was one of the first captains on the Pioneer Pride dance team here the first year, and I'll never forget competing in Daytona, Florida, at the Nationals. It was literally like the Bring It On movie. I mean, there were cheerleaders doing stunts everywhere, and there were mascots, and there were dance teams, and it was just the action and just the feel of being there and then performing outside. That was the last year, I believe, that they had that performance outside, which was a huge kind of staple. So I feel grateful to have that experience.
Well, I would say that my favorite sports moment was in 2013 at TWU when Jordan Redeker hit the walk-off home run to send us deeper and deeper into the playoffs.
I think one of my all-time favorites really isn't necessarily a sport moment, but it was a trip that we took when I was at the University of Arkansas prior, and our women's basketball team took a trip to Australia, and we toured about 4 different cities there and played various teams, and just that whole trip was amazing. Everyone we met, the teams and the team personnel that we met, just fantastic people, and it was wonderful to see a place like that I would probably never have a chance to see, and sport made that happen.
You know, I can't be like a bandwagon fan of the Warriors, you know, so I don't even know if they have a good shot or anything. So you know what, I'm just gonna stick with them. It's probably not gonna happen, but
they're not in the playoffs.
Oh, well then listen. I don't even, Sharice, when I tell you, I do not watch basketball unless the Warriors are playing. I do not watch basketball.
I don't even know who's in the NBA Finals, to be honest. Sorry.
I would probably have to say, I'm going to say Lakers, and man, I like the Celtics right now. They're looking good, so I'm going to say Lakers Celtics. I'm going to say Lakers win it.
I mean, I got to give it to the Lakers because LeBron and AD, I just think it's going to be hard to stop them. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with the Lakers.
The Lakers? Are they still in? All right, we'll go with the Lakers.
The Nugget.
It's so hard. I want to go with Celtics. Look so good right now, so I'm going with the Celtics.
Okay, well, I am going to pick the Boston Celtics because one of my former student athletes is one of their top international scouts. So I'm gonna be a home for the Celtics for him.
Well, I know nothing about basketball.
You know what? I'm gonna go controversy. I'm gonna go with the Heat.
The Lakers, just out of tradition, and maybe the Heat because the Miami ties.